Good to see you, John.
Thank
Keeping
you.
well?
I'm very well, thanks.
Good. Back on your... Well, it's kind of your home ground, isn't it, really, here, I suppose? I mean...
15 miles from home.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but a Hampshire bowler... back in the day, but it looks great and good to have you back again. So Victor's come in. Well, Victor's been in charge of sorting all of these out. Yeah, we get more and more every time, you know. It's just...
He's chief inquisitor, is he?
Well, he thinks he is.
No, but I just give Jonathan all the good questions.
No,
I keep the rest of myself.
I'm not sure about that. But it's such a popular slot, this. There's a fair amount of imagination used, as well as we know. And I was saying yesterday on the radio that it was because we had inevitably there'll be a question about beards somewhere come up, but because of that one about the beards touching the boundary. In the Commonwealth Games, I was doing a women's game. There was a magnificent dive, actually, on the boundary edge by a ponytailed fielder who did everything right, except at the vital moment, her ponytail touched the boundary edge. 4 runs.
I'm part of her person.
4
Absolutely.
runs. And I thought straight away of you. I thought straight away of Keith Flett, who's our friend who always sends you these ridiculous questions about beards. But however, there you go. And actually, I was on at the time and I knew the rule.
Yeah.
Because of these, I was immediately able to say, oh no, the ponytails touched the boundary edge.
That's right.
At the same time that she had the ball in her hand.
Yeah, boundary.
4 runs. So women's cricket, there's a lot of ponytails in women's cricket.
There's a few ponytails in men's cricket. Not so many. I mean, Dagnall used to have one.
Yeah, not quite as long as
Dagnall.
They're not quite as long as these ones, I don't think. But they may have to introduce a team policy of no ponytails or something. You have a really tight one-day game. Anyway. Go on, Victor.
Well, I was just going to actually ask a question that isn't a puzzler for him. I was thinking about yesterday, and you remember when Robinson, happens quite often, took a wicket, so it seemed, caught short leg, and then no ball. And all I was going to ask John, just to sort of ease us into it, is that how often, when you were umpiring, would you tell the bowler, look, you're getting close here? Or would you have conversations with the bowler about where that front foot was landing?
I know the answer to that because I've bowled with John many times.
Yes, well, I think I know the answer to it, but it's worth knowing that, you know, how it operates, or certainly how it operated when you were standing, your relationship with the fast bowler, you'd have a word, would you?
Yeah, my job as an umpire was not to get anybody.
Yeah.
So if I saw someone close to transgressing, I'd have a quick word. If you're getting close to no balling, I would say, look, you're getting close on the crease.
Yeah, come back
a little bit.
So
then if you go up there and step over, then you get no balled. But you're never looking to get to catch players out.
And by the same
token, with that, you've often said that to me.
Yeah, and you would be asking John.
Yeah, where am I?
Am I close?
And it's funny because when we talk about that, we often get messages and stuff, but for people saying, well, you shouldn't say anything, that shouldn't be that sort of relationship. And of course there must be that sort of relationship.
Nonsense.
You want to keep the game moving,
and
it's just important. And you can't see where you're landing often as a bowler, so you rely on the umpire to say, come on, just get back a bit, and you try and do it. And if you don't, no ball, that's it. But there is that dialogue all the time, and it's important that there is.
I feel I've always felt that it's important for umpires to have good relationships with players, and if the players know that you're not looking to get them, I mean, Mike Gatting as a batsman would quite often come in playing for Middlesex, will say to me quite often, tell me if I'm bringing my bat down straight, and I would say yes. Your bat is coming down from gully, or it's coming down straight. Yeah, I say yes, and I don't see, you're not coaching him. No. You just ask a simple question.
What I wonder actually
answer.
is whether the modern umpires would have that conversation so frequently.
I have no idea.
No.
I have no idea.
They do have that. I heard, because we get pitch mics next door, Stuart Broad talking to Richard Illingworth yesterday, because he bowled a couple of no balls. And he could say, where am I, Lee? Where am I? What's happening? And so Richard would say, well, you're quite close. Or actually, that's better. That's better where you are now. And that conversation is going on. And
that's fine. Isn't
it's the right way to do it. Everyone's involved in the game, and you want the game to move smoothly, don't you?
That's right.
All right. Andy Flood from London starts us off. Great to have a second. Ask the umpire of the summer. Here's my query. You might, at the end of the first sentence, you might get an idea of where this one's going. 2 identical twins are batting together in a crucial 4th innings run chase. Don't close your eyes and look like that, John. One, a fairly useless number 9, with only rabbits to follow. The other, the team's star batsman and the last chance to secure victory in the over before lunch. Not quite sure what it should be, but anyway, the star batsman holds out. Fielding team are cock a hoop as they go off the interval, a wicket having fallen in the over. When the players return, the remaining twin soon plays a glorious cover drive for 4. Instantly suspicious, the fielding captain approaches you, the umpire, claiming that the wrong twin has come back out to bat. What are you going to do?
That is a problem, because if you can't decide who is who, how are you going to say that the wrong batsman or the right batsman is batting?
No.
If you don't, you just got to depend on the honesty of the batting side.
Right.
And if you can't, there's nothing. If you can't say that that the wrong person is batting,
you don't have a quick identity parade or something like that? No?
You could demand passport, birth certificate.
Well, that wouldn't help, would it? You wouldn't know who's holding it.
No, that's true.
You've got to talk to the batting captain and hope that the players are honest enough.
Yes.
That the right person is batting.
Well, it's a change from calling dead ball, John, which is your normal response to these matters.
Well, this one's more straightforward, I think, and more likely to happen, perhaps. But it's from Paul Adams. He says a team needs 1 run to win with 9 wickets down and the scores are level. If the last batsman is out stumped off a wide, does that mean the batting side has won the match? If so, by what? By 0 wickets?
Because the batting side has won because the wide counts
first.
Yes. So as soon as the wide is called, the match
batting
is
side
over.
has won the match.
1 run
and
the match is
if
over.
I happen to be scoring that match, obviously there is a batsman who was stumped.
He wasn't stumped because
the match is over.
Because the match is over.
So he is not out. Whatever it is.
You've won by 1 wicket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Does that ever happen? Have you ever seen that happen?
No, but that is the reality.
But you would.
I've been asked the question.
It's like a no ball too, isn't it? If a no ball is bowled.
You've obviously seen people stumped off a wide, though. Have you, in your time?
Yeah. But the wide
comes first.
When it comes to the result of the match, the wide comes first.
And it's worth saying that if someone bowls a no ball and blows the stumps out of the ground in the same situation, the no ball comes first, and
Absolutely.
so the game is over.
The game is over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now then, here's Alan Course, who says, I umpire in the lower divisions of the Sussex Cricket League. Now, this I can relate to this because this happened with a very well-known captain of England, Ray Illingworth. Brackets, dear friend, but was never out, close brackets. Earlier this season, I was standing in a match where there was a spin bowler who grunted very, very loudly when he delivered the ball. Think Monica Seles in tennis. A couple of overs into his spell, he got the batsman caught behind. As he walked past me back to the pavilion, the batsman said to me, I played the grunt, not the ball. Now, it made me think, says Alan, should I have cautioned the bowler? And if so, under which law?
There is no such law. I mean, the law here, you're talking about distraction. If the bowler just routinely grunts on delivery, there's no distraction. It's got to be the distraction has got to be intentional.
So really big
or to be
grunt.
seen by the umpires to be intentional.
Right.
If this is something which is standard, and previous deliveries he's grunted and nothing has happened, the fact that the batsman is out doesn't really matter.
If I say A.A. Jones to you...
Yes, I know Alan Arthur Jones.
Yes.
Proper
Absolutely.
grunter. So the incident I'm referring to was I can't remember which county, many counties Gerald Allen was playing for at the time. But he ran in down the hill at Grace Road and as always had a terrific grunt to Ray Illingworth, who played a hideous shot. His stumps went everywhere. And he came off, sat down in the dressing room. I thought, bloody umpire called no ball.
He thought it was a no ball.
He said he thought it was the best excuse ever.
I bet if he hit it for 4, he would have been quite happy.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that was one of Ray's many excuses for getting out.
I'm not sure I even heard Closey use that one.
He did a good grunt, though, didn't he?
Oh, yes.
A good umpire, Joe. No? Choice
good man.
Yeah.
Howard Wilson says, I have a question provoked by yesterday's play. Jack, which you saw a bit of yesterday's play, I know, John, you were watching bits and pieces, weren't you? Jack Leach was bowling and Folkes was up to the stumps, the batsman under edge and the ball was dropped, okay? But he asked, had Folkes dropped the ball what I mean, I think he means by not taking the ball cleanly, and it deflected onto the stumps, dislodging the bails, but then made a second attempt at the catch and caught the ball before it was grounded. Is that out?
Out. The ball hasn't touched the ground.
So it can ricochet off the stumps.
Yep.
And he can be still out caught.
That's right.
Okay.
Settles that.
Yeah.
We're rattling through these today, John. David Miller writes, I'm a keen young cricketer in Sherwood Cricket Club's first 11, but a broken finger has put an abrupt end to my season. That's a shame. Bad luck, David. I'm still going along to watch most weekends, but I've been roped into umpiring tomorrow in our game away to Headcorn Cricket Club. It's my first umpiring at that level, and I fear that I may be a little out of my depth. So I'd like to ask John Holder what he would advise on the law surrounding man-cadding. Our opener was man-cadded just a few weeks ago. It led to some dispute, which I'd rather not have to deal with. Any advice on man-cads and his opinion on their effect on the game would be very interesting and maybe useful. The law has changed, of course, recently.
Yes, it'll come into effect from the 1st of October. But the non-striker has no right to leave his ground until the bowler before the bowlers release the ball. Now, it used to be, I think it's changed again, but it used to be when the bowler was in his delivery stride. So before that, you couldn't leave your ground. No, man-cadding really is, to me, it gets exaggerated. Who is leaving the person? According to the laws, you've got to ask which of the two players, the bowler or the batsman, is trying to get an unfair advantage. The only reason why non-strikers leave the ground early is to gain a few yards. It's illegal. And I agree that bowlers should run batsmen out who leave the ground prematurely.
No warning?
No warning. It is illegal. Look, you can back up quite comfortably by watching the bowler as he runs in with your bat in the ground, and you can be outside the ground, but your bat is grounded, and you can watch the bowler, and as the bowler gets close to the stumps, you can move with him. But nowadays, lots of batsmen stand at the bowler's end, non-strikers stand at the bowler's end, with their back completely to the bowler. They've no idea, they've got the bat here, they have no idea where the bowler is, and they're leaving the ground early. That's illegal. The law is now going to be man-cadding is completely legal. It always has been. The non-striker has no right to leave his ground early.
They won't be using man-cadding as a description either, actually.
No.
But
so there's always some offence actually caused by that, hasn't there? People feel it's not fair. I hate the sight though of a bowler trying deliberately to run somebody out like that. I mean, to almost let the ball go and then come back and knock the bail.
You can't do that. You can't do that. But by the same token, non-strikers deliberately, especially when the game is a close game.
Yeah. When set off.
It's set off early with one intention only, to get down there as quickly as possible, and that is not right.
Yeah. The fact is, David, as far as the law is concerned, just to put you at rest, you are legitimately run out if the bowler runs you out when he's bowling the ball. Basically, if the non-striker has left his crease, then that's it. It's always been viewed as being unfair.
It is. The only unfairness is the non-striker leaving his ground.
I just wonder, in your long career, did you ever have occasion to give someone out?
No.
From that? No. Not once in 27 years or whatever?
Not once. But it has happened.
It's happened a bit more frequently. Obviously, Ashwin and Butler had their moments, didn't they?
And there was the Under-19 World Cup final,
of course,
which finished with a man-cad.
There was a one-day international, I think it was Sri Lanka and India, and Billy Bowden. And
there was Jos Buttler against Sri Lanka at Edgbaston.
Yeah. Right.
I suppose more and more one-day cricket inevitably leads to more and more man-cadding opportunities.
But as I said, there's no reason why the non-striker can't watch the bowler running up
with his bat
in his left. Let us say you're right.
Yeah.
Batting in your backhand, in one hand, and you're watching the bowler run up, and as he gets close to the wicket, you start to move forward, but your bat is still on the ground.
That's what I was going to say, because every youngster will be taught when you're backing up, you start backing up with the bowler. So,
That's right.
I think the Joss Butler one against Sri Lanka, I remember getting quite cross about it because he was just moving with the momentum of the game. And so the bowler just waited a moment, he'd left his ground, bang, ran him out. So what do? You're now telling youngsters that actually you don't move with the bowler because that natural momentum is actually taking you out of your ground at the moment that you expect him to let the ball go.
But you can still move with the bowler, but you've got to make sure that
he or she has let the ball go.
Hasn't let the ball go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tricky for an umpire, though, because you've got to be able to gauge if the bowler's sort of completed his action but held onto the ball.
Yeah, because you're watching the pop increase initially for the front foot,
Okay, well, there's often these situations occur with the side 9 wickets down, don't they? We've got one here from David Fradley. And he said, this situation occurred at our club match on Saturday, and I'd love to know the answer. The game was in the closing stages. My team were 9 wickets down, still needing another 20 to win. One batsman set on 49 not out, and he goes for a big shot over extra cover, which is caught by the fielder at deep extra cover, a good 10 yards inside the boundary. But the fielder then, in his celebration, runs straight over the boundary with the ball still in his hand. A heated debate then took place with the batsman eventually being given out and the game ending with us falling 20 runs short. But what he's asking is that if he's caught the ball and just sprinted off the field in his celebration, is he out, or could he possibly claim to have get a 6?
The umpire has got to decide whether having caught the ball, he was in full control of where he went, of his further movement.
Okay.
So so in that case, in the umpire's opinion, he'd caught the ball and just continued running, but could have gone in any direction, then it's out. The ball, he's under control.
Well, that sounds right to me. So, he's in control of the ball, and having demonstrated he's in control of the ball, he can go anywhere he likes.
That's right.
It's lunch here at Old Trafford on the second day, 212 for 5. It's England's score, and so they lead by 61 runs. We're having our Ask the Umpire slot here, which always proves very popular. And Mr. Jeffries has emailed regarding the identical twins dilemma. Surely the solution to the wrong twin coming out is simple.
What's that?
You give the fielding captain the right to change the batsman to the other twin. If the batting team have changed over their twins, as suspicions would suggest, the fielding team gets the bad batsman batting. If the batting team has behaved honourably, they gain by having the better twin batting from then on. That's rather clever, Mr. Jeffries. I don't know your Christian name. That actually would be the solution, wouldn't it?
He should actually join the...
Where's your white coat?
He should actually join the umpires.
He should.
Become a member of the MCC, making the laws of cricket.
Well, but it's a Machiavellian solution. And I like this idea because, there have been a few identical twins playing cricket, although the Marshalls at New Zealand they're both batsmen anyway, but... Yeah. But I'm just thinking, if I'm captain of the batting outside, I've got to bellow at them. If one twin is using a Gray Nichols and the other's using a Gunn and Moore, you've got to yell at them, make sure you swap bats as well.
Very good point. Duncan Matheson, hello there. I play for a 20-over team on a Wednesday evening for the South Northants Cricket Club at Bugbrook in Northamptonshire. There was an interesting situation in the last match, and it went like this. The batsman hit the ball through point and set off for a quick single. The fielder collected the ball and threw it at the stumps at the opposite end, so the non-striker's end. The ball glanced the stumps before the batsman was in his crease, but the bails, although dislodged, stayed on. The ball ran away past the stumps. The batsman took off for another run, so an overthrow. Just after the batsman left the crease, the bails fell. This is a true story, apparently. The batsman continued and completed their second run. The umpire, brackets, the facing batsman's brother, close brackets, this is where the slightly sinister element comes in here, gave this batsman out, run out. So he gave his brother out. Was it correct? What should have happened? I'm not sure if a run was credited or not. I have to check the scorebook. Regards, Duncan Matheson. So he's hit the stumps with the throw. Bails I guess sort of tentatively are dislodged and they're just sort of
Hanging
balancing
on.
go for the second and plop, comes off.
Well, the reality is that the law doesn't say anything about how long or how short it should take for the bails before to actually be dislodged completely. So it's got to be out.
Got to be out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it's your brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a ruthless but
It is
logical
ruthless.
decision.
You're supposed to be completely neutral, brother or not
But I
brother.
mean, if there was a strong gust of wind
At the same
to
time.
dislodge the, I mean, if you decide that it's the wind that has removed the bales, you know, it's a big windy day, you just
Slightly dislodged bales and the gust has taken them off. So that's tough, is it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. There you go. Well, whoever that was, Duncan, who made that umpiring decision, they did well, actually. Unless he's had a fallout with his brother.
Well,
and did it for alternative
except
reasons.
they're not talking, and the family is riven apart.
Yes, fair enough.
Well, it's not really, it's just an inquiry, this, from John from Northfleet in Kent. And he just asks, what's the most unusual tool that you've heard that has been used for counting the balls in and over? I mean, isn't it just
Chris Gaffney's got quite a big.
Has he?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's his ball counter. Quite a big red and white one that he holds.
Okay.
Some umpires have like a clicker,
Yeah.
and not only they register the balls, they actually register the runs as well.
Oh, really?
So it's a clicker with two parts to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I used to use
Coins?
coins. I went to Portugal back in the late 80s, and I had some escudos, and the 50 escudo coin was roughly the same size as a 50 pence coin.
Yep.
And I found those very comfortable, so I used them for the rest of my career.
All
But
right.
different people
Pebbles?
use different things.
Pebbles?
Some people,
For those who can't spare any cash.
some used to.
A few umpires like that I came across.
Some of the umpires used to use little Watney red barrels.
Oh, yes, I
Well,
remember.
it's-
It's
Yeah.
what you feel comfortable with.
Okay.
Where are your escudos? A little box somewhere?
I've got them at home.
Yeah. Treasured,
yeah.
worn.
Yeah.
Right, Chris Gaunt from Hebden Bridge. If a player makes a noise when they play the ball, like Joe Root saying, "Oh no," when he was dismissed yesterday, can they be given out for obstructing the field? By obstructing the field as well, I guess there's no point in Root's case because he was out anyway, wasn't he? But
That's right.
It's an exclamation, knowing that you're out, really, isn't it?
Obstruction has got to be seen to be intentional by the umpires.
Generally physical,
Well, whatever, it can be verbal.
can be verbal.
Absolutely. I mean,
Right.
for example, if the striker hits the ball in the air and is about to be caught, and the non-striker says, "Leave it, it's mine."
Oh,
And then the umpire realised that it was deliberate, then you can be given out.
you take an appeal. Someone must appeal.
Someone must appeal.
And then
absolutely.
off you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
But I mean, I remember actually when I was bowling, and you'd have a silly point, and possibly a forward short leg, and I bowled a ball that I knew was going to be a nasty forward toss. I remember shouting, "Watch it!" to my silly point. And I think possibly on one occasion, I mean, I think I got the wicket. This well-intentioned "watch it" to my captain at silly point may have slightly disturbed the batsman's concentration, and then somehow he missed it. And I think he had to go, but I think he might have been a bit disgruntled. But it was an innocent. It wasn't a purpose. I mean, I was trying to save my silly point rather than put the batsman off.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's by the by. This is from Adam Stern. And it relates to sort of the heat wave we've been having a bit, because he says on one of the hottest days of the year, with drinks being taken all the while, the umpire sensibly brought a water bottle out to the middle with him. And to avoid holding the water bottle all day, he placed it near, but not touching, the base of the stumps where he was standing. Early in the second innings, the batters take a quick single, causing the fielder to shy at the non-striker's stumps. The ball hits the umpire's water bottle and deflects to the boundary. Neither the ball or the water bottle strike the stumps or dislodge the bails. How many runs are scored?
So let me hear that again.
You've got the umpire, I think, has stationed this water bottle.
So they've run, how many runs have they run?
Probably one. I would guess they might have won one, but there is a hurl at the stumps. It hits the water bottle, but not the stumps, and is ricochets deflected to the boundary.
The water bottle shouldn't have been there in the first place.
But there's a heat wave.
No, the water bottle shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Okay,
but it was
by law.
Yeah, okay.
So the umpire,
the umpire
should call dead ball. He should. Absolutely. I mean,
first one of this session, I think.
He has done that something illegal.
Right.
Because he should not put the water bottle on. It shouldn't have been there in the first place.
So it might be dead ball and one run that might have been completed.
That's right.
Okay.
I mean, the field inside should not be penalised by an umpire having done an illegal act and then gaining from it. That shouldn't happen.
Well, he adds, actually, just out of interest, the umpire initially went for what you've just said, dead ball and one run. But after objection by the batting team's captain, reference to the laws, he said, in consultation, discussion at the 22-over drinks break, the decision was changed to 1 run plus 4 overthrows. And you're saying that's not correct.
Absolutely.
It should have been 1.
Dead ball, that's it. End of it.
So probably you'll have to replay the match.
Umpire decision is final.
Yeah. I like this one. John Davies. Hello, John, in Norfolk. The ball is bowled. The batsman misses it, and it's taken by the wicket-keeper standing up to the stumps. The wicket-keeper immediately turns his back, and the batsman, thinking the keeper has missed it too, sets off for a run, but the keeper turns round, breaks the wicket and appeals for the run-out. Clearly the batsman is out, but would you give him out after this display of low cunning, which is obviously not in the spirit of the game?
If I'm in the umpire's opinion, he thinks that the wicketkeeper is trying to con the batsman, then you've got to call dead ball. You can't do that. You can't do that. It's got to be a genuine wicketkeeper catches the ball. In everybody's opinion, the ball is dead once the keeper's caught it. There's no attempt, but he can't just hide or just turn his back and then pretend he hasn't got the ball and then break the wicket. No,
not out.
Not out.
And a lecture to the wicketkeeper.
Telling off.
That's right.
Can you get penalised?
Gamesmanship.
Can you penalise him?
You can report him.
Okay.
You can report him.
What happens, and this happens quite often in the field, there is, sort of square of the wicket, and ball's hit quite hard, and the bloke at square leg, he kind of dives in the certain knowledge he's never going to get anywhere near the ball to suggest to the non-striker that he might have got it. But it's a sort of mock dive, given that the ball is probably about 10 yards from where he is.
Gamesmanship.
So that's another lecture, is it?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
That does happen. That actually is 5 penalty runs.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Attempt to deceive the batting side. That's 5 penalty runs. That's illegal.
Oh, I'd like to see that happen. That would stir it up, wouldn't it, at the end of a one-day match? But you do see that happen, that people sort of fake, they dive in the certain knowledge they're not going to stop it, just to try and deter the batsman from setting off.
The first person I saw do that was Dermot Reeve.
Well, there's a surprise.
Dermot Reeve, captain in Warwickshire at Edgbaston. Well, he was the first person I saw do that.
I mean, can I go on for that? Because Dermot Reeve, do you remember when Dermot Reeve was batting against a spinner, left-arm spinner, bowling over the wicket into the rough?
Hampshire's Rajmaru.
And he
threw his
bat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you can't be caught off the glove if you're not holding the bat.
Yeah.
And there was quite a kerfuffle about whether he could do this. So then I asked myself, what if the fielding captain had reinforced his offside field? So there was a slip, second gully, silly point, so that if Dermot Reed threw his bat on the offside, he's bound to be obstructing the field because there's so many fielders there. So would that have deterred? Could you have stopped him throwing his bat by having so many fielders on the offside that if he threw it, he'd hit someone?
Because I mean, that's a case of gamesmanship.
Okay. Yeah, he was a great lateral thinker, Dermot Reed.
He was different.
And mischief.
He was different.
Can I just put this one in? Because it's quite a good, a very simple question. If a player's glasses fall off and dislodge the bails, is he out hit wicket?
Part of his person.
You're out.
It's part of his person, yeah. If a cap falls off and hit the wicket, you're out. And if glasses fall off, any part of your person breaks the wicket, you're out.
You're gone. There you go. I mean, that's quite an interesting little question. There you go.
Well, I don't know if it's in there or you might have it, but it's sort of the same sort of thing. But you know how you're caught off the glove, so you can be caught off the Velcro at the top of your glove. What happens if you've got a very long-sleeved shirt that's slightly too big for you, and you buckle it up and it practically goes down to your knuckle? Can that reduce the areas in which you can be caught?
The question is,
if it hits the shirt and not the glove, even if the shirt's too big for you.
Well, if it hits the shirt, you shouldn't be given out, really.
Okay.
But I mean, the question is, can the umpire see that? Has he got that sort of X-ray vision to be able to say that it hit the shirt rather than just the glove here?
We could review it these days, though.
Well, you can on television. But the thing is,
I suppose if you
the thing though is that the laws of cricket were made not just for television. So the actual umpiring on the village green, without access to TV cameras, should be able to use the laws as well.
If you come out in a massive shirt, anyway, there's bound to be a few suspicions raised, aren't there? Spirit of the game.
Yes.
Go and change your shirt.
Yeah. Or just do something with the sleeves.
Yes.
You can't do that.
Right. I can't remember this, but from Mark Hill, talking about the village green. Both sets of villagers seated in deck chairs. I think he's setting the scene here, including the wife of one of the players who had a small white terrier tied to the leg of her chair. The dog clearly had designs on the ball and was watching it roll around the outfield with malicious intent. They batted first. Come the end of the game, we needed something like 10 to win with our number 3 still at the crease when number 10 was bowled. I went out there with instructions just to hit it and let him do the rest. As the bowlers ran up, I closed my eyes and swung. We started to run through for a single as the ball came to rest in the outfield. It was at this point that the small white terrier became detached from its deck chair. Sprinting onto the field, it grabbed the ball, did a full circuit of the outfield from the fielding side before depositing the ball at the feet of its male owner who was fielding in the slips. The umpires called dead ball, insisted I return to the striker's end, even though we had completed our run and the ball had not touched the rope when it came to a stop. I was bowled next ball and we lost the game. I mean, was he unlucky? I mean, could he have got more runs?
Extraordinary story. Gosh, you'd love to be a spectator, wouldn't you?
The fact that the
ball is in the terrier's mouth.
The dog runs onto the field of play when the ball is and catches the ball when it's live. So the fielding side immediately are at a disadvantage. So you can't have access to the ball. So you got to call dead ball.
Right. And then you have to judge whether they've completed the single before the dog got the ball in his mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lovely scenario, isn't it? I mean, there's a similar one here. Graham Lawton, a champagne cork is lying about 2 metres from the boundary edge. The batsman hits the ball, which is slowing up in the outfield. When it hits the cork and ends up falling just short of the boundary, it would have gone for 4. The batsman crossed for 3. How many runs are awarded? And I ask this, says Graham, because I was in the mound stand at Lord's on the 3rd and last day against South Africa, and I saw a cork. Actually, I walked past them, Graham, I know exactly where you were. I saw a cork in the outfield, so a situation could have arisen. A fielder actually removed that cork, he said. So what happens there?
I honestly don't see us. If a ball is rolling with a little bit of momentum, I can't see a champagne cork really stopping the ball from carrying on to the boundary.
It's unlikely.
I mean, the cork is so light, I can't see it stopping the ball from going on to the boundary.
Yeah, I think he thinks that's a stupid question.
Well, there were lots of corks lying around. Because I finished interviewing the captains. I saw the ball.
But they're not that heavy as to really stop the momentum of a ball going towards on the outfield.
But if there's we're at Lord's, a champagne bottle has been lobbed onto the... and that does it. What would happen then? Well,
if in the umpire's opinion the ball would have gone on to the boundary, then you signal 4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay. This is from Glenn Worrell, who was officiating in a match on Wednesday night. Nonetheless, he says my team was batting and needed 5 to win from the last 2 balls. The bowler's follow-through had obstructed my view on a couple of occasions, and I told him that he had to move out of the way of my sight, or I couldn't give any decision if there was an appeal. On the penultimate ball, the bowler, on his follow-through, went straight in front of the stumps at the non-striker's end, and as a result, all I could see was the batsman stretching for the ball, but not the path of the ball itself. The batsman was adamant that it was a wide, but I could not give it without seeing where the ball had actually travelled. We lost the game by 1 run, having got 3 on the last ball. Should I have called a dead ball and had the delivery re-bowled? Because he claims he couldn't see.
No, you don't call dead ball. You don't call dead ball for that. You would have, if a bowler is falling through and obstructing your view, you'll have a word with him.
Yeah.
And then if he continues to follow through, and that happens again, and he might have had a wicket, but you couldn't make a judgment, then
It sounds odd, doesn't it, that he couldn't see sufficiently to see whether a ball was a wide or not.
A wide, yeah. I had a situation years ago at Taunton with Glamorgan and Somerset. Peter Roebuck batting, Rodney Yontong used to follow through, getting close and stop in front of me.
Yeah.
And I'd said to him before, I can't see to make a decision.
Yeah.
You need to follow through and move off the pitch. And he bowled the ball to Peter Roebuck, and there was a noise. I think it was edged to either forward short leg or silly point. There's an appeal for a catch, and I said, Rodney, I can't make a decision because I can't see. So I couldn't give the batsman out.
Let's finish with the twins. That's where it started.
Okay.
Steve Wilkes. Surely the simplest solution to this doppelganger's dilemma is for the umpire to take a look at the back of the batsman's underpants to see which name his mother has sewed into them. Or, alternatively, Tony Owen says, I'm just laughing at this twins question. This was a storyline in The Archers a few weeks ago, and only Oliver Sterling noticed. So there you go. Thank you, everybody, as always, for all of your emails and everything else that we get. It's such a popular section. John, thanks to you, as always. You haven't had to come so far today.
I think he survived again.
I think he has. Not too many of the safety, just call dead ball solutions that we often get. But John, lovely to see you, looking well.